Hey gang, welcome back to Calgary Barbell. Today we're wrapping up another week of training. Some interesting and some very not interesting things went on this week. Started off the week with some squats and worked up over 800 pounds for the first time this block. It's only week 4, so being up to 365 for my comp squat felt really damn good. It moved pretty well. I think it was 0.27 meters per second, which for me is right about an 8 on my squats, so I was really happy with that. Followed it up with a whole bunch of singles. I think the singles were like 330 or so. Anyways, those all felt good. I feel like I'm able to pretty consistently get to a depth that I'm happy with. I'm using Canadian Nationals as a reference point and trying to get every squat as low as I had to squat that day. I know I've mentioned that before, but that's still very much sort of the forefront of my mind. This was the first week I didn't get into my shirt. Now, I've been dealing with some shoulder injuries, not even injuries, but I've been having a pain experience in my shoulder, we'll say. So just kind of all over the place. And as far as I can tell, just a bit of a buildup of fatigue and overdoing it for a little bit too long, just kind of pushing it too hard for too long. And these things happen. I'm really generally unfazed about it. I'm a little bit bummed out that I'm kind of gaining a little bit of weight in the off season right now. And I don't think a lot of that's going to my upper body because I'm not able to train it as well as I would like. But yeah, it's one of those things. I'd rather take the time to get it healthy now so that come time for, World's training block, my next training block, I'd like to have everything healthy and moving well by that point so I can really push it and not have to hold back. But right now, I think I benched, I didn't record much, if any, of my upper body training this week. It was all very, very light, a lot of exaggerated tempos, using boards in some cases to limit the range of motion. Basically just doing what I can without pain and continuing to train as best I can, and things are feeling quite a bit better. It got to the point where I would have a hard time opening the covers in the morning because my shoulder was that banged up. And now my pain in my sort of ADL, or activities of daily living, is much less. So things are heading in the right direction. We'll take some time with that and see how it all goes. But that was upper body training for pretty much the whole week. Deadlifts on day 2 went exceptionally well. I worked up to 382.5, which is only 7.5 kilos shy of my best deadlift ever in competition. So it moved really well. It felt pretty heavy, but I've been bracing my squats and deadlifts just a little bit differently than previous, forcing a little bit more extension and trying to exaggerate that. I found one thing that I was doing with my squats previous to this block was I would hit the bottom and kind of rock forward. And for me, I think it was a matter of not being tight enough throughout my back. So tying my lats into my erectors and making my trunk a little bit more extended seems to help. Allows me to get decent depth in my squats and not sort of roll forward. It allows me to have less issue with the lockout on deadlifts. It does make it feel a little heavier, a little tougher off the floor, but I think a lot of times that's the trade-off with the extension versus a little bit of flexion. So backed off again with a bunch of singles there, a bunch of upper body work, not really worth mentioning. I did some safety bar lunges that day as well. Not sure if I filmed those or not, but those are a movement that I really like. I find, especially in a hypertrophy block, single leg stuff can be pretty useful, just in terms of really being able to do a little bit of isolation work that's non-specific enough that you can just bang out a crap load of volume there, but still is training those same muscles as would be used in a squat. So try that movement out. It's a good one. Day 3-4 this week was kind of the first time I really pushed my big, I don't want to say big, but my accessory movements for my squat and deadlift. Now, I'm not doing a secondary squat and deadlift like I normally would, like a paused squat, paused deadlift, those kinds of things, where it's staying relatively specific. No, this block is very non-specific for my secondary movements. So I'm doing safety bar squats for 12s and snatch grip RDLs for 12s. Now I went up to 180 kilos on each of those this week, and it drained my soul a little bit. It felt like, I think up to this point I kind of babied it. I was really sandbagging it a little bit. You know, it's 12, so I'm not going to go that heavy. So I've put on a good 20 kilos on each of those movements probably in the last couple weeks. And really started to try to push them. Like I said, I'm putting on a little bit of body weight in the off season here, so trying to make sure that I'm getting adequate hypertrophy stimulus by pushing hard enough, using enough weight that I'm getting that stimulus that is needed. So those 2 days felt really good. Again, both of those days just really, really light upper body stuff. Like I think I was overhead pressing 40 kilos or something like that. And that was the week, really. The next wrap up that we'll do here, I'm going to be in Europe for these seminars. So we're going to be in Basingstoke outside of London for 2 days, April 27th, 28th, I believe are the dates. It's that week. Excuse me, it's that weekend though. And then we're going to be in Edinburgh on May 4th and Glasgow on May 5th. So if you guys are interested, if anybody's in those areas and wants to come out, hang out. We're going to be doing lots of hands-on work. We're going to be going over sports psychology. We're going to be talking about nutrition, periodization. Taylor and I have a really cool compare and contrast between our coaching styles, where we kind of highlight some of the differences, but how we kind of both end up at the same place by doing things just a little bit differently. So some interesting things, I think. Hopefully a lot of open, frank discussion, and just really looking forward to going to Europe and hanging out and seeing the sights and lifting and meeting some great people. So if you guys are interested, calgarybarbell.com, go to our coaching shop, and you can find some links to the seminars and stuff in there. But yeah, Taylor and I will be doing the live stream on Instagram for the next few Fridays, as opposed to our usual YouTube live stream. So we won't necessarily be able to do the form checks like we normally do, but we'll do a Q&A on there. We may record a Q&A and or some vlog type stuff for the YouTube channel, and take you guys with us a little bit on Europe, in Europe, to Europe. Anyways, yeah, so that's about it. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If there's anything that you want to see or know about the seminars or about our trip, let us know in the comments below. We'll try to capture it for you. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time, or potentially in the live streams. Take care.